Oh. Hello. We're gonna give it a minute or two. I'm in my car, so there might be some outside influence noises. I'm just turning on my air conditioning for a little bit while we let more people join. Hi, Karen. Great to see you. I don't have a stand on my phone, so I'm going to be holding this for the next hour. I'm staring at Baloo. Hi, Julie. So for the next couple minutes, hi, Wendy. Hope you're well. I'm actually doing pretty good. Hi, Diana. You want to say hi? I see your tooth. Bell's in the very back. Hi, Kate. From a rainy Cornwall. Interesting. I got rain for a few days. I know what that is. So before we start, I always do, when I was doing my lives. Hi, Shirley from Dublin. Hi, Stephanie. Appreciate it. No offense taken. Hi, Ruth. So I always start out with a cheers. Hi, Monica. So I always start my conferences with these now. The MMIW, from the Indigenous Nations, the First Nations, bringing awareness to the murdered, missing Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirits. That needs to be brought out for more awareness and how they're treated, basically. So I got mine from El Turkey Boy Photography, who has done some amazing stuff and awareness and told me several stories about several of the stories in his in the Navajo Nation. So please support when you can. Turkey Boy Photography. So I'm gonna take this off now. So to my cheers. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Milo. Hi, Laura. Oh, let me know if you can still hear me. I'm turning off all my other notifications. Oh, good. I'm glad. And you can see my logo on the back, which is just a shirt. I'm a van life. I live in my car with my dogs, and we travel and train dogs. Safely, social distancing, all that stuff. And so I figured might as well do it from my reality. Share my reality with you. I do have one thing I want to discuss after the, because with the MMIW, not with that, but one thing I want to discuss to, hi Becca, excuse me. One thing I want to discuss with people is going to be panic grief, the 7 primary emotional systems according to Dr. Jock Panskep from Manchester. Hi Vicky. Hi Becca. So we discussed things with the fear period with puppies, right? I want to rethink that, and I'm going to go through my seminar this hour long discussing how and why the fear period should be rethought of. You can use fearful period. What is it, that little time frame where puppies develop fear episodes. Now it is kind of a fear period. It's a fearful period. But the amygdala, which we're going to talk about the limbic system, we're going to talk about a little bit the polyvagus nerve, we're going to talk a little bit of your autonomous nervous system. We're going to talk a little bit about brain comparison. We're going to talk a little bit of mostly emotions, how to bond with your dog when their way, in ways that they are looking for help. Because the way dogs look for help is different than when people look for help. We can verbalize. When dogs verbalize, they're highly stimulated. Hi, Debbie. We don't want them to be that way, but it's going to happen. This is one of 3 talks I'm going to be in on this page. My second one, I'll announce later on after this. The third one, which is technically the second one, is going to be with Diana Kastner, and we're going to talk about something that's going to tie everything together. And this is science. This is neuroscience. This is effective neuroscience. We're mostly discussing effective neuroscience per Dr. Jock Panskep and several other people. So what I said, the fearful period, I want to refer to as the fearful period. Because science is showing, even with mice and rats, that when an individual, a young individual, is nervous and scared, you got a hyperactive amygdala. You got an amygdala that's working to learn the environment. What is also being found out is when a parent or caregiver actually is there to help buffer, the amygdala actually is suppressed, which is what you want, which means the amygdala, which helps you with your fear and quick learning, fear learning, which is important. It's why we have anxiety, to want to see if our environment is safe. It's a form of anticipation to assess threats, to maximize rewards, but also to assess threats. When we do not have this caregiver with us, we are rewiring the brain. And then we start talking about trauma. What science is showing is when you're there for somebody, when they are nervous or scared, you're helping them feel safe. You're helping them feel what I like to say is safe and social. Heard, wanted, and acknowledged. I'll repeat those over again. Heard, wanted, and acknowledged. Helping you feel safe. So while you're writing, so you go through something scary, when you're by yourself, you have to think about all the stuff that happened. While you're with somebody, you can assess what happened and discuss it with somebody. And when you discuss it with somebody, your amygdala will suppress, meaning it will slow down. So the rest of what is needed to, the neurochemicals can actually do what it needs to do and burn off adrenaline, which is what happens when you feel like you're going to fight or flight or play. Hi, Laura. Sorry, I was ready to burp. Hi, Laura. Fight, or play. Notice the 3 that I said there. All contain adrenaline. All get your sympathetic nervous system up and active. Those are innate. You have rage. First off, you have seeking, which is subconscious. You don't have to think about it at all. Your polyvagus nerve, your stomach, your sympathetic nervous system, the adrenaline, your kidneys, your adrenaline, your adrenal glands, everything will do what it needs to do. While I'm looking at you, I'm still assessing my whole environment. I don't have to think about this stuff. These are innate. Hi, Laura. You have seeking, then you'll have rage. The urge to defend. You'll have fear, the urge to run away. That's the fear. And these are capital letters. These are 7 primary emotional systems that have individual neural circuitry to it. Then you have lust, the urge to fornicate or sexual gratification, to reproduce. You will have care, the urge to take care of somebody, the urge to help somebody. Then you have panic grief, the urge to reach out to relieve emotional pain. Then you have play, the urge to be more social. Hi, Deborah from Shropshire. If I said that wrong, I apologize. So, rage and fear are antisocial. Lust, care, panic, grief, play, those four, hi Jesse, are social. So when I say safe and social, no, I cannot actually, because I'm actually holding it by hand, because the last 2 days between bouncing back and forth between vehicles, I have not found a way to, well, I might, but I'll be very uncomfortable. Give me a minute. Let me explain this a little bit further. When I say safe and social, maybe if I just extend my arm. Nope. Okay, so I'll get very uncomfortable. It's not about me being comfortable at all. That's kind of working, but my cord's attached. So when I talk about being safe and social, that also means that emotional pain of wanting to reach out for somebody. Because you need somebody. The urge to reach out means you need somebody. When your dog needs you, they'll usually stop. They might look at you. You will see them come up to you. They might put their paw on you. They might lean into you. They're going to stop. That's part of your panic grief system. Then you can just use your care system and just be there for them, so till they feel safe. When they feel safe, they're more likely to seek more positive options. So we're all still safe and social. Once you're feeling safe with somebody, you're more likely to play. You're going to play to de-stress. You're going to play to be interactive. You're going to play to get what that anxiety is, which anxiety is the connections from your amygdala to your prefrontal cortex. So it's your thought process. Anxiety is not innate. Anxiety is your amygdala talking to your prefrontal cortex that you need to do something. Adrenaline's getting ready to go. We're anticipating something in the future. Excitement and anxiety have the same physiological characteristics, meaning the same thing that's going to happen in your body are going to happen on either way. The only difference is your thought process. Now, this is not to cure anxiety, because there are anxiety disorders. But anxiety is real so that you can anticipate threats, so you can maximize rewards. We just don't think about that part of it, because we think if we feel it and we see it must be dangerous. And you're probably right. You're more than likely right. When a dog does it, if we are not there for them, there's already adrenaline going. So you're not going to really get them to calm down. Adrenaline needs to make you move. The beauty of the sympathetic nervous system is it doesn't last long. The adrenaline's only meant for you to fight to win, run away to safety. Because your brain is designed for you to live, that means it wants you to be safe. So your parasympathetic nervous system can kick in. So once you seek safety, whether it's with somebody or something without, you automatically have more positive options. They're not negative. Rage is not negative. Fear is not negative. I'm trying not to read that. Sorry for the pause. I'm trying not to read that. Veridity camp. I'm trying not to read that. I'm trying not to read that. So what I'm doing now, to avoid that, to read that, I'm looking away. When you look away from something that you don't want to see, that means your brain is releasing more dopamine. When you release more dopamine, that means you're finding more positive options. You're slowly finding more emotional rewards so that you can find more positive. See, now I could talk about that without having to focus on that, because it was very interesting and I wanted to get into it. Now is not the time for me just yet. Your eyes are very important because they are, I see them. Your eyes are pieces of your brain that are not attached, that are not inside your brain. Thank you, Blue. There's a dog that walked by. Thank you. I got you. Did he growl at you? He growled at you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. This stuff with the lip licking, I don't know if you can see. You probably can't. Those lip lickings and those yawns, those are other things I want to discuss too. So right now, Blue was anticipating what that dog was going to do. And because we cannot play, he's going to burn off that energy. He was looking for a fly. Did you find it? Yeah. See those lip licks? Thank you. Emotion regulation. Those are not, that lip licks are not conscious thoughts, which means your autonomous nervous system has to kick in. Oh, did you find a moth? So now he's finding more positives. That yawning is his parasympathetic nervous system taking back control of his brain and his body. He's finding more positives in his environment so that he can de-stress better and stay safe and social. We all do it. We can do it more if we let ourselves. Oh, but I'm talking about people, our dogs. Thank you, Blue, for that example. Do you feel better? Yeah. Do you feel better? Yeah. We're cuddling, I swear. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Do you want more? Now, he's anticipating because he hears people. Does it mean something? No, it doesn't mean anything. Did you brush your teeth this morning? Oh, that would be my fault, huh? Lip licks, yawns, shake-offs are indicators of stress, yes. Yet, they are indicators of emotion regulation. Basically saying your body and brain does not want to stay stressed. Humans have chronic stress. What your parasympathetic nervous system wants to do is take over. Your sympathetic nervous system's only supposed to work for a short time. To fight to win, to run away to safety. To play until you don't need it anymore. I know, right? He's such a good actor. So what that means is, at some point, your parasympathetic nervous system is going to kick in and say, it is time for you to calm down. This is why shake-offs are great. This is why when you see lip licks, yes, if you keep pushing it, you're going to get bit. Calming techniques, techniques to me is a poisoned word. All these things are innate, are going to happen so the brain can tell you it's time to relax. The stress is gone. There was nobody around for him to tell he is stressed. Now I can use those signs to go, the stress is gone, meaning you don't feel it anymore, because the behaviors we see, hi Julie, emotions affect behavior. Always. Bottom up approach. Excuse me. Which means your innate urges, those 7 primary emotional systems I was discussing, are going to dictate your behaviors. And yes, your environment is part of it. Lip licks, yawns, and shake-offs are ways the brain is saying we don't want the stress anymore and we're kind of over it. We found more positives just by simply averting the eyes. averting the eyes of something that's stressful. So when you're looking at something, if you really notice yourself, if you see something that's stressful or scary, and hey, Marion, and if you keep staring at it, the more amped up you get. To where eventually you kind of just vent, quote, or flip out or de-stress. What that actually means is your body got rid of it and your body's trying to de-stress. I'm sitting awkward because I'm in my van, which I live in, and my camera holder is in the center of my car. Oh, Blue needs cuddles too. Once they feel more safe and social like Blue is, this is where your endogenous opioids kick in. This is where oxytocin goes to help with repair the heart from the stress that just happened over that dog. All these things are innate. All these things are supposed to happen, and we actually let the dog, and we're there for them as a friend. You're going to get these things quicker. Now, I, unfortunately, am inhibiting his shake-off, but he had several yawns. Yawning is getting rid of carbon dioxide to increase oxygen to open up your capillaries. Letting blood flow. Oh, my back. So we'll do this real quick. Cheers. You don't have to argue, Ruby. It is very true. When we start understanding that each brain is designed to survive and thrive and to stay social their specific way. My version and people I hang out with, we all do it differently. I'm autistic and STEM to deal with stress to self-regulate. I would argue dogs do too. Shake off, scratching, etc. It's unconscious for me, and I know I'm not a dog. I'm shaking. I know lots of peeps talk about fear periods at certain ages, but I'm starting to become convinced it's about transition they experience in their external environment, internally in their body. Just a dog trainer might be talking out of my ass. So I post a video on effective dog behavior, my page. My co-created page with Diana, who was going to have a live on this later on this week, to talk about stuff that goes deeper than what I'm talking about. You're not wrong. There is science to back up what you said. And they did not do this with children that, I apologize if I say anything wrong, are on the spectrum, but they did it with children that were overseas adopted. And she's not the only one doing this experiment or research or things like that. See, I've got something in my hand. If you really think about it, anytime you start fidgeting, that is adrenaline going through your body. I'm limited. I'm nervous. Like I said, oh my God, my hands, I just saw my God. My hands were shaking when I went to go tap more on Ruby's. That means I have a little bit of adrenaline. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. Yes. We understand through social neuroscience, when you name it, you can tame it. Meaning, once you name what is happening here in the connections, why you're upset, anything else, what your thought process is, you're actually changing your brain to heal. And I don't know why I went down to up, but that's what it is. It'll drop down so you can start reconnecting everything else again. The more positives you have as far as miniature little rewards. I don't mean positives like more cake, more money, more car rides. For me, it's the convertible, my Cadillac, getting back on the road, all that, my bills paid. Not those positives that are goals, but just looking over and just seeing I am safe. I can continue on this. I don't have to leave. The cops are not here trying to kick me out. We're not got surrounded by dogs. I feel safe in what I'm doing. I can go into a landscape. I can pan out and see what I need to see to know that I'm safe. So my parasympathetic nervous system can take control and realize it's not as bad as I thought. Blue is not standing at the window anticipating every dog. He understands that if there is a dog, he can get excited and I will help him feel safe. I'm not going to control what goes on in your head. I cannot control what goes on in your head. What I can do is help you feel safe so we don't get upset. If you do get upset, I will still be your friend. This is my lamb, L-A-M-B. Look at me, buddy. There is nothing wrong. Like Ruby says, she stims. If I saw her stim, I would do what I could to keep her safe. I would always be trying to think about what possibly made that happen, not to prevent it, but to make sure she's not going to be hurt. When she feels safe enough to discuss it with me, I will take her lead to help her feel safe. Unless I absolutely need to get her out of that situation. When you name it, you change it. Perfect. Dr. Dan Siegel discusses name it to tame it. Hi, Andrew. I'm catching up with a little bit of stuff, so more cake sounds good. It does until I get sick. Sounds so obvious once you explain it. Ice cream sounds better. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Sarah. And anybody else's name I missed. So, this is why I say you always want to feel safe and social your way. Feel safe. This is why I say to feel safe, you need to feel heard, wanted, and acknowledged. When you do not, you're going to drop down into fear. If that need does not get met, then you're going to drop into rage. Now, mind you, both of those are still rewarding in the brain. They are there for a reason. They're not supposed to happen long. That's the thing. Ugh. It's not kids just having, oh my God, they had a tantrum. No. They might have been emotionally and physically overstimulated. If you punish somebody for this, you're not helping them. You're keeping them in a rage longer. And they're going to learn through rage how to get their needs met. That you're finally going to pay attention. Because remember, when you're in these emotional systems, you are what we call, when we're in rage or fear, the antisocial primary emotional systems, you are what we call portrait mode, tunnel vision. So everything you are, the information you're gathering is coming at you really fast. Because you need as many positives in your brain to get you to survive and thrive. This is why we have startle responses. This is why touching somebody, you remember, when skin is designed for temperature, it is designed to also help release endogenous opioids so it can feel good. Emotional pain and physical pain are really close in the brain, like literally a band in your brain to tell you where pain is at. They're very close. This is why physical pain can help you with emotional pain. Cutters. This information that I'm giving you, that I'm using with effective dog behavior, is stuff that we're learning for depression, for suicide, and mental health issues. So this is going to sound very familiar, or ways that can be helping other people if you stop and think about it. When you hire a trainer, it's because you do not feel heard, wanted, or acknowledged. You may act out in rage, get fed up, and go, I need to hire somebody. I need help. That is completely 100% your limbic system communicating with the rest of your body and for you to make those behaviors happen. Emotions affect behavior. A bottom-up approach, because your limbic system is pretty much ready to go. Your neocortex is what keeps growing. You do not stop learning. You can always learn to feel safe, but you have to understand why you do not feel safe. Makes so much sense hearing it out loud. And I talk about this stuff all the time. I will never stop talking about this. The more you talk about it, and there's another learning thing for humans. When you learn something, you're welcome, Laura. When you learn something and you talk about it, you retain it better. For humans. Dogs aren't going to teach us by telling us to go potty. Unless it's through barking. And then that gets reinforced if that need gets met. That is so true. My son has tantrums, and if you talk him or touch him, it feeds into it. Overstimulation makes sense. It would be the same for dogs. And yes, there are sometimes startle response works. Everything your brain has is meant for you to survive and thrive, or you would be dead. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it with a dog sometimes, but if you really watch a dog after a stressful situation, see if they ever turn to you, how long it takes for them to want to interact with you, how quickly they go into a play, which is not playing. They're not going to go and play fetch. They're going to start digging. They may start jumping at you for attention. That's what we call a connection seeking. Basically saying, I'm stressed, and before I go into rage, I'm asking you for help. When they're in play and de-stressing, they're going to want to drop down into panic grief, which means the emotional pain. I need help. I need a cuddle. I need some endogenous opioids because my heart needs to be repaired. And when you're too busy saying, come back to me, do this, do that, do this, and the other, or I'm going to put you away, or I'm going to leave the room and then I'll come back when you're settled, your dog learns that you're not reliable. I can only get this person's attention if I do this. So I'm going to sit here stressed until they come back, which leads to more anticipation. So I'm going to go back up for a minute. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them, because I ignored somebody. And I apologize for that. Verity Camp. In humans, a dog process called DARE. In humans, a process called DARE, capital letters, uses that process for anxiety disorders, training you to think about something as excitement rather than fear. The problem is you can't tell your dog how to think. That is true. But you can teach them how to act. So when you know that there is anxiety or that they're starting to amp up, same chemicals going through your body as the same ones that's going to be excitement. So you can be there for them, acknowledge it, help them feel heard, wanted, and acknowledged. And when you look closely, the reason why I don't use the word freeze anymore is because the eyes are always moving. The nose is always twitching. So they're always constantly gathering information. That may lead to fiddle. Okay, we're starting to burn some of that adrenaline, which means you start to find a little bit more positives in your environment. Now that you'll start to see if the dog is frozen, freeze, staring at something, you'll see the eyes dart. You'll see them. And I will tell them, I see it. Talk to them slowly. I will walk up next to them because remember, touch, their body is sensing you. Where are you? They know that leash. They can feel the pressure from the leash. They know where you're about at. And you'll start to see ear twitches more. You'll see the head start to move a little bit more. Now they found more positives in their environment that it's safe enough to do something about it. All right, come on, let's go over here and go play. All right, come on over here, let's go dig. All right, come over here, get the stick. You want to go get your ball? How about a cookie? All right, let's go find it. Now they're back to safe and social, but you still have the adrenaline. That stuff has to burn off. Literally. And the cortisol, there's a big one we discuss in the dog training world. That is part of your metabolism. It is there for a reason. You're supposed to have it. The only time it's really not present or a little bit over than what it should be is during play, free play, where the dog is just doing what they want to do, making up their own rules, doing the zoomies, digging randomly, jumping at you, and the behaviors that look like they serve no purpose. That can be de-stressing, or that could be absolutely just being happy and in the moment. That is the sympathetic nervous system taking over, and the dog needs to burn off the energy. Sweet. De-stressing, venting. What else? So when they get into play, the brain is literally lighting up with rewards. After that, it's a great way to train your dog. Letting them choose the game and then going and interacting. While you're interacting, don't change the rules. Let them continue the rules because they're going to burn it off. Adrenaline has to go. Then it'll slow down. The parasympathetic nervous system will kick in, and you'll see that the sigh, emotion regulation, now they're interactive with you. They've included you in their game. Play their rules a little bit. Now you can start playing back and forth. They want to chase back and forth. It's got to go back and forth. So they can chase you, and you can chase them. Then you can pick up a stick. Then you can throw pine cones. You can throw leaves in the air. And then you can start working on your sit, your down, your come, your stay, and all the other stuff that you want to teach. Because they're a lot more receptive to learning, and it's more likely to retain because they are in a good mood. They are in a good mood. They chose to play. They want to learn. They want to be social. They want to have fun. Keep it going. There's a point in time where the brain develops the way it's supposed to develop. This is why they figured out when children, when I was talking about that fearful state, that fear period that we talk about in dog training with puppies, consider it a fearful period where it's a great time to say, hey, I'm here for you. We can go through this together. Because what they usually find out is when the amygdala is working like it's supposed to, because you're supposed to have these parts of your brain doing what they're supposed to so they feel safer in their environment so they can survive and thrive. So when you have these fear periods, once they understand that they're safe, guess what they end up doing? Seeking. They go out and try and figure out what it is. I mean, do that when there's something that's not, like they're afraid of a tree. I'm here. I got you. When you see them start to, oh, you're here. Oh, okay. They'll still be curious about that thing. If I was to remove them, we never finish that curiosity. If it's safe, let them explore. I do not think in dog training world we utilize ourselves. We don't understand how important we are to helping animals feel safe. The dogs do. Because everything is an emotional response. Emotions affect behavior. They understand when we're reliable. They understand when we're going to feel safe. They understand when you're going to feel safe. To be able to help them out. When you're watching something, you're always getting rewards. Dopamine's always telling you this is good, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe. That is the entirety of your seeking system. You do not have to think about this. .238. So, I know I mixed things up a little bit and I apologize. My goal is always to be understanding how we can help our animals feel safe. Whether they are reactive, whether they are overstimulated, whether nervous or scared. And a lot of times, almost anybody will tell you, can you just listen to me? And what happens if you tell somebody, no, When you're relaxed, then we can talk. When a dog's overstimulated, highly stimulated, nervous, scared, ready to, if they're going to fight or flee, they're antisocial. Knowing that, I also know that once they reach safety, they're more likely to be more social. It's going to take a little bit longer. So if my dog does hide out, I will go sit with them until they relax. I've had dog fights in doggy daycares. The dog that's still able to be a little bit more social, I will leave my staff with that dog. Like ones that can kind of shake it off and go back and, burn off that, oh my God, that was scary. But the dog that's pissed, I'm going to go sit with that dog. If I have to pick them up and move them to a separate room, when they settle down, I want them to know somebody is there with them. Because that is burning a lot of energy. That was very stimulating. They're going to want to take a nap. But they need to feel safe, know that they're safe. So I will not leave them. Because I want them to understand, through that stress, somebody was there for them. Just before that, nobody listened. And you see those dogs that stop and stare? They're not in fight. They're not in fear. It's a great time to step in. I got you. Hold on. Wait for me. I'm here. Because when you talk, they listen. They hear you. Listening as in, not listening as in they're going to do something about it, but they listen and hear you. So that information's being gathered. You may not get a behavior you want, but you stimulated and you influence that environment. When you're able to follow through, they understand that you're going to be there. So then they might understand. And remember, this is highly stimulating. Support your dog. Advocate for your dog. Yes, thank you, Sarah. You're all right, Laura. I don't know if I acknowledged that one. Here's another thing, too, I want to discuss. Mistakes. They're important because that's what helps you learn. That is conflict. When you work through it, it's resolution. You have a little piece in your brain that when there is stress, something that bothers you, you either focus on it constantly until the answer comes to you, or you'll figure it out. That is important. That's what it's always happening. It's always happening. So while we think we're not doing anything stressful for our dogs, you are always part of your dog's environment. And when you have nervous and stressful and reactive dogs in public, this will be my part 2 when I go to do this a second time. How to help your dog in public. When they feel safe, training, techniques, protocols are so much easier to work through. I want you to go back to any video you've ever watched on dog training and see how the dog I don't know how to say this properly. Not for the obvious signs that they are waiting for the owner, but how they actually realize that they're safe and they acknowledge that the owner is helping them feel safe, or trainer. And a lot of times it does mean sitting there and doing nothing. The more you can learn in your environment, the better it is. When you're constantly moving, it becomes habit and it works. Don't get me wrong. It's not stuff that doesn't work. The only thing I'm against is shock collars and prong collars. What I am for is communication, helping you and your dog feel wanted, heard, and acknowledged, so that they feel safe, and social. Because what we're finding out, even if you are only social with one person, that can open up your world tremendously. When you feel safe with somebody, you're more curious. Once you know what that feels like, you do want to know more, because feeling good is kind of addictive. But when you feel good with somebody else, it really opens up your world. Trust me, there's times when I have not felt safe at all with anybody. And now look where I am. I feel safe enough to give a presentation with at least 33 people at the moment. That more people are going to see this. And yes, I want this. But I want to make sure I feel safe, or I'm not going to do it. I want to make sure my dogs feel safe so that I can travel and train. So that I know that when I go out, they're not anxious the whole time. Or if they are going to be anxious, I know the brain is designed to want to seek somebody eventually. Asking for help is proper. It's innate. When we say no, we're not worth it, or we ignore it, we're not listening to our emotions. We're not listening to our emotional systems. We're not listening to the way our brain is designed to ask for help. Generalized anxiety. If you think about anxiety, all it is communication between your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex. It's a thought process. So generalized anxiety means everything is, I don't feel safe. I'm seeking out as many rewards as I can, and I'm not sure which one's good, and I don't know which one's bad. That's adrenaline. So we do not go far on our walks. We will sit and relax. I will relax, because the more relaxed I am, the dog's going to realize we're not going anywhere. When I'm more relaxed, I can see most of my environment because I'm in landscape mode. So when the dog does turn to me, I know that they're not going to be able to take in their whole environment, and they're anticipating something bad happening. But that adrenaline is going to want them to be excited. Eventually, when they do turn to me, whether their butt comes up to me, we will sit and I will cuddle. And I will, not like cuddle and hold them and all that other stuff, but I will rub their sides. Because when you touch somebody, you're releasing endogenous opioids. The parasympathetic nervous system is designed for you to take a breath for emotion regulation. Your lip licks, your yawns, your shake-offs, those are not bad. Those were not signs of stress. Maybe stimuli, yes, but they're not bad. They are meant for the brain to say, I gotta relax. Blue just did a big sigh. You can wake up and shake off. You can shake off 3 times in a couple minutes because you're trying to get excited, but your parasympathetic nervous system says, no, don't. No, don't. When I can get some of those things, my dog is feeling safer in the environment a little bit more. So when that means they're able to look around and they're finding more and more rewards of dopamine, emotional rewards. Working hard on managing my anxiety regarding my pups on lead reactivity. I know if I'm anxious, I'm just holding the lead. I'm just sending it down there, but it's hard. You're not sending it down the leash. Remember, energy. When things heat up, molecules move faster. They spread out further. And the air connecting between all of you, that's information. That's sensing your environment, literally by touch. So, when you're anxious, you can change that to excitement. Your dogs are reactive, which, yeah, they're already anxious too. Everybody's anxious, and that sucks. Oh God, that sucks. I feel you, because there's times I'm okay. So, for example, I'll tell you when I'm more anxious with my dogs, because I am also a dog walker, but I haven't done it since October because I'm traveling and training. When I was doing it, in certain areas I would walk to, you're expecting to go to your safe area, and I've got reactive dogs. the ones that got kicked out of other dog groups or ones that other dog walkers can't handle. I'm walking and I'm driving, anticipating calmly my area is safe. All of a sudden you get there, it's crowded full of other dog walkers. There's a preschool going on, holding classes. In my case, the Presidio, which is federal land, shut it down. Oh my God, are you kidding me? What are my backups? Where am I going to go? What am I supposed to do now? Where am I going to go to help these dogs feel safe? Because Hunter likes to run. Wiley only wants to play ball for a little bit, and then he'll go potty. I can't go far. That's not far from the car, because after Hunter goes to the bathroom, he wants to go relax, and then he wants to get water, then he wants to go play with us, so I got to be near a parking lot. Okay, fuck. Excuse my language. All right. There's options. I just listed a bunch of options. I'm going to name it to tame it. I don't feel safe at the moment. I'm not making myself relax. I just had to kind of force myself to go through something. I'm just reliving some information. But I wasn't upset when I was talking about it, so it's easier for me to relax. So, I will go. Take a breath. Acknowledge that, yeah, this sucks. This really sucks. But, just like when you're driving, you're assessing your whole environment. So when I get somewhere, or I think of something, I'm looking around, okay. And I only have an hour to walk these dogs. This area looks cool. Let's go potty. Plus, when you go to a new area with a dog, it's all brand new smells, which is more stimulation. And if they've never been there before, they gotta find more smells. They gotta relieve stress, because they were also anticipating, we're gonna go potty soon. 5-10 minutes later, they still have to go to the bathroom. That excitement of seeing me, getting into the car, and they have to go relax. They have to go potty. Going to the bathroom will relieve a lot of stress, because that feels really good. So that's why I always let my dogs go to the bathroom. I'll grab the leashes. Everybody waits. I grab the leashes. We go potty right by the car. At least go pee. That reduces a lot of stuff. If my dogs cannot go pee really quickly, we're not going far from the car. Hi, Danielle. Hold on. Hi, Yvette. Okay. I'm not a behaviorist, but much of what you're saying has become more obvious to me over the last couple of decades. Sorry, I keep touching my phone and making it bounce. Thanks, Lord, for making me paranoid about that. And yes, I'll get into that later. Karen, I'm not a behaviorist, but much of what you're saying has become more obvious to me over the last couple of decades working and living with deaf dogs. It is so important we can listen to what they say and help them understand that life and emotional rewards are there, and so am I. Exactly. And this is innate. This is what we are designed for. Science did not need to teach us this. Not dogs anyways. This is why we've had relationships for so long. Since mankind and every animal before us. Social species before us. Why do we reach, and this stuff, you reach out when you're young, as an infant. So this is all genetic. This is all instilled in our DNA. There's a reason for all this stuff for us to survive and thrive. And now there's just science on it. I know for a fact the Apache band of the indigenous, First Nation, indigenous people here in America, they let their kids play. The way they tell the story is the Inuit, when they don't get upset when their kids throw tantrums, because they understand they're emotional. They didn't need science for that. They understood it, and they had great families. They still had social interactions. They still had go and do everything else they needed to do to survive and thrive. They were not on the lookout constantly. Doesn't mean there wasn't anxiety, because anxiety helps you stay alive. But they understood how to live through their environment. How does hypervigilance come into this. I see a dog looking around as hypervigilant. What am I missing? Stop. Stop and observe. And you can literally, there's times where, okay, I get a new dog, I gotta understand this dog. I gotta see what is this dog more nose influenced, ear influenced, sight influenced. Blue is very sight influenced. He'll spot things so far down the road. I was over at this place called Sand Creek Massacre one day, and we were on top of this hill, and you could see for miles down to the park, down beyond, for miles. And he saw a dog, this itty, tiny, bitty thing, and he just stopped and stared. Talk about scanning your horizons. I'm not sure if he can smell. I know 40 yards is a stadium is a good way, good comparison that dogs can take in a lot of information. But this was beyond that. So I sat and looked. I walked up the leash a little bit, and I just looked into his face and was just watching him. Then finally he goes, "Oh, hi, Dad. Hey, buddy, what's up?" Really? Way down there? That's how far I have to worry about a stress? A trigger? You gotta be kidding me. No, not really. And he starts walking around and going pee on stuff, and we start playing. Then we walk back to the car, get water, and all the other stuff. Really? So Blue is highly sight influenced. Belle is too, but she does a lot more with her hearing. So watching her ears bounce while she's walking, you'll start to see the radio ears, the radar ears, and what's really going to influence where they're going to go next. Did they catch? Okay, that's more information for me. I don't have to be nervous. I can be wary, but I don't have to be upset about it. Mine are never accidental. And apparently mine are not either. Didn't realize not going to the toilet aspect. Definitely incorporate staying close to the house until she's been to the toilet. If I don't know a dog, I'm not going far. Because if the dog keeps wanting to go, they're gathering information. They're expecting something to happen. And I have no idea what that's going to be. So I don't feel safe. And I can overcome almost anything. But if I don't know the environment either, that's the other thing. Once you go forward, go back and go forward, you're learning your environment so much more. You're learning everything. So not just are you looking at out scanning around, but once you come back a little bit, you'll start to scan what's in front of you. What's in front of you is very important because now you're gathering all that information, not just looking for specific stuff. Finley is very sight aware. Yeah, it's fun to watch. Anyways, I've got 3 more minutes. So again, advocate for your dog. Humans do it, so right? And with Karen, what I loved about Karen Law with Deaf Dogs, I've been following her for years. One of the greatest things that she does, and I don't mean this at all in a negative way, but it's one of my favorite things, is something that I've done so much more of, is shutting up. Believe it or not. Don't watch my videos because I don't shut up in my videos. Because this is a big communicator for us, but it's not for dogs. And if you have a deaf dog, they're not going to hear you. So how are you going to convey your message? A scent on the breeze can be a trigger. It took me too long to work out the first time I didn't care this was the dog. Yes, there's so many things that it could be anything. But then if it is a trigger, your dog's going to look for it. So you're going to see where it might be coming from. Hashtag Karen rocks. Yes, deaf dogs rock. I hope that's hers. So many things I want to ask, but too long. Really interesting. Thank you. You're welcome. So thank you, Ruby, for putting this on. Thank you, Ruby, for and everybody else for participating. I didn't give my thanks. I got 2 minutes. Thank everybody on here for asking questions, being engaged. This is all learning. This is all emotional reaction, so you feel safe enough to gather more information. And I hope I made it fun and educational your way. My way, because I have to do it in my time limit. But hopefully it gives you something to think about. When you start having aha moments, that is your brain releasing memories. So to make it all work together to help benefit you. Anyways, thank you all very much. I don't want to end it yet. Affective dog behavior. Emotions affect behavior. Feel safe your way so you stay safe and social. Oh, one more, since I got a minute. Cheers. You're welcome.